Now we were discussing about this option, that is axis options. If you select the other one, that is size and proportions, here there are some options to change the alignment of the labels of the axis and the direction of text. This is more practical, and you can change the direction of text. If they are long values, long numbers, or text, you can rotate it in this way to show them in a better way, or in another direction, or like this. You can also define a specific degree as you wish. The other options here are like adding a shadow, adding a glow, and soft edge. And 3D format is the options that you may have seen them before in other things in Excel. And you can add something like this. You can add a shadow like this to the values, or change the colors, or anything you want. You can change the transparency, size, blur, angle, and distance. And you can add a glow like this around the values. Usually we don't prefer to add something like this. Let's undo these options. The other tab is here is fill and line. Fill is related to filling around the labels of the axis with a solid fill, or a gradient, or a picture, or something else. I prefer to use the simplest one, that is no fill, but you can adjust the line. By default, the line is drawn with a gray line. You can change the color. You can change it with this option to, for example, to red. If I deselect this, you can see it better. And you can change it to black. Now you can see that it's black. You can make it thicker if you want, like this. You can change the transparency to make it transparent, or without transparency, like this. You can also add a gradient instead of a solid line, or you can use an automatic option that is so similar to the solid line, and it's actually the default values of Excel. And if you again go to solid line, you can change the color, change the width, and you can make the line as double line, for example. If you increase the thickness, you can see that it's now something like this, and it's double line. It's not practical for axis actually, and we prefer to have a single line like this. We can also make it as a dash line or dots. This is a cap type that is now flat. You can use the square, or you can use round. It's related to the end of the lines, or end of the tick marks. It's not visible too much, but you can see it if you zoom it. You can now see that if I select and change it from square to round, you can see that the end of the lines and end of the tick marks are now rounded. The other thing that you may prefer to add is an arrow at the end of the line. In many cases, you may want to add an arrow at the end. You can also add at the beginning of the line, but usually we may want to add at the end. There's different arrows that are predefined in Excel. You can select each one you prefer. For example, if you select it, you can see that it's added at the end of the axis. You can change the sizes of the arrows like this. It's now the biggest one and the smallest one, and like this. In this case, you can see here that there's a tick mark and arrow in a single place. I don't prefer to see something like this. So it's better to change the maximum value, and you can select, for example, 850. Spacing between the points defined by measure as 100. And if you use 850, so the next item would be 900, that is 50 item after that arrow. So you don't have a tick mark and arrow in a single place like this. You can also adjust the y-axis similarly. You can set the maximum, for example, 140. Again, 0 is okay, but I will edit it again to be sure that it's not changed. You can add tick mark again like this for major items to inside of the plot area. For the labels, it's okay by default, and the numbers are also integer, and I don't want to change them. I don't want to change the direction or alignment of the labels. And about the color of the line, I prefer again the black with a thicker thickness like 1.5. Let's change it is also to 1.5. 2 is much thick for this line. And I prefer to add an arrow like this again at the end with the biggest size. And now I prefer to make it 135, for example. Then you can see that it's drawn like this. But 135 was not good because top of our diagram is now removed from the view. So I have to change it to 145, for example, or 150. Yeah, it's much better. In this way, you can see that maybe grid lines can be useful to find a point on your diagram. You can now add the grid lines to the view here like this. I prefer to add primary major and primary major in horizontal and vertical directions like this. I want to add legend also. In many cases, I may need to define the diagrams. If I have, for example, two lines, I can define them. The name of the data is the same name that you have defined in the select data option. Very select data option. If you right click on the plot area, you can see here select data. And by clicking on select data, you can see that data is shown here. You can add another data, and you can edit this data by clicking on edit option. By default, there is no name here, and Excel decide to write series 1. You can write, for example, run number 1 or anything you want. Here you can see the horizontal axis labels. In some other diagrams that I will introduce later for you, if you don't have X and Y values and only one table, one vector is used to draw a diagram, you can change the name and provide a label for your data. And in this way, you can select a range to label your data. I will describe it later, so don't be confused. And the label here is the same X values. You can also switch row and column with this button, but it's not the changing X and Y. You can see here, if you select it, the series are 160, and every series has only 1 point, A2 to B2 and A3 to B3. So it's not the same thing you are looking for. If you want to change X and Y axis, you should go to edit and change the X value or Y value and select them again. You can use this option to select the values, or you can write, but now you can see that there is a mistake here. There's a plus sign and something is added. If you go back, you will encounter an error. Make sure that it's empty, then select the area like this. So there is no other things before selection area like this. And you can again select the Y, or you can edit it by your own. You can change it, for example, from 25 to 102. So let me write its name again, run. In some cases, you may prefer to add a line around your plot area. To do this, you can select the plot area. The menu will be opened automatically for you on the right. You can add a solid line to cover the plot area like this with a solid fill or a gradient or a pattern or a picture. But you can also add a line around the plot area as border. With select solid line, you can change the color. For example, a red color you can see here is added around it. I prefer to add a color close to the color of axis, that is gray. I can change the size of line, and I can also change the type of line to be a solid line like this, or a square dot like this for showing the border around the plot area. Another option that you can use in scatter diagram is trend line. By clicking on the line and right click on it, you can find something like this, add trend line. If you click on it, you can see that a trend line is added. It can be defined as a linear line or a logarithmic curve or a polynomial curve with different orders like 2, 3, 4 or more, and or moving average or power that is not active here, or exponential that is inactive in this diagram. You can select each one you want depending on the nature of your data. It should be reasonable and logic according to your data you're working on. If I select a linear, I can see that this is the best fitted linear line to my graph. And if I select the equation and r squared, I can see the specification of that line. This is the equation of this line. You can see y and x have a linear equation, and the intercept here is 45. You can change the intercept manually. If you select the trend line, you can see here that something here is written as set intercept. You can set to be started from 0, but it's not precise option, and the default option is more precise in many cases. But in some cases, you may want to force Excel to pass trend line from a specific point. About the R-square, that is the coefficient of determination, it shows the accuracy of your trend line. If it's close to 1, it shows that it's precise and the trend line can represent your graph in a good manner. But if it's low like this, it shows that it's far from your data and it's not a good representative for your graph. If I remove the intercept, it's the best case. You can see that is 60%. If it's less than 90%, it cannot be considered as a good estimation. Using the forecast option, you can add some points as a prediction for your data, 50 item in forward, or for example 100 points in the backward, but it's only the representing the line, and the equation has not been changed here. It's something for showing the line, and it's not related to the equation or R-squared. One another thing that I introduced when I wanted to describe this option, that elements of chart, was labels. I told that adding label for whole the data may not be practical, but adding a label for some specific points like the maximum here, if I select this point, let me zoom to select it in a better way. If I select the maximum and right click and add data label like this, I can see that the label of maximum is added here. I can also add label for another local maximum that is available here by adding a label like this. I can also adjust the number of decimals with this option. I can select the number and select 2 or even 1 decimal for this, or for another one also I can do it again and select 1 decimal for the item here. I can also change data label shape like this. I can add a square, add a cloud around it like this. I can make it smaller, and different shapes that are available in the Excel. Another item that was here, that was error bar, is mainly used for column diagrams, and I have introduced it in another video that I described the column charts. So you can check the other video to see what's the error bar there. Thanks for watching this video. I hope this tutorial was useful for you. If you have any question, you can write your questions as comments below this video, and don't forget to like and subscribe to support us.